A big shot by Aaron Craft right here in Dayton, and Ohio State is through to the Sweet 16 to take on Arizona. I'm Tom Vandervoort. We are here in Dayton alongside Mike DeCourcy, and you were here when Craft made that shot. He made it after missing the front end, I think, 3 one-and-ones.
He missed the 2 free throws that were one-on-ones, and then also a second or the first of a 2-shot situation,
right,
as well as some other circumstances that he did not deliver in. But he drew the big charge late on Will Clyburn, and then at the end of the game, he wanted no one else to touch the ball. He was taking that shot. They tried to run a play for LaQuinton Ross. The defender switched, so it was all him. He had Georges Niang on him, and then he just took it and made the shot.
And obviously that's a sign of a confident player. And you know, if ever a guy was going to lose his confidence, it would have been in this game, and clearly he didn't.
Yeah, and he actually had, at the beginning of the season, had a game against Duke, where Duke basically said, okay, we're going to make you a scorer. Go ahead and beat us. And he failed. He did not make shots. He was getting into the lane and missing floaters. He was missing 3-point attempts. They were giving him shots, and it really wrecked his confidence for the period of about 2 months or so. He started to rebuild it at the end of the season, and you're seeing the results now. Not just that last shot, but his willingness to attack the rim, to make layups. When they can get the court spread, he's very good at getting into the defense, right, and finishing layups. That's given them an offense. I mean, they really didn't have an offense for the first 2.5 months of the year. They were having a lot of trouble beating significant opponents because of that. But today they beat a terrific basketball team and a very hard team to play, in part because Craft had the confidence to make some layups and also to make that huge game-winning shot.
Now talk about Arizona, because this year they kind of had a little bit of an up-and-down year, but they seem to be playing very well and obviously had no problem with Harvard.
Well, part of the nature of this tournament is who you play.
Yep.
And if they'd had to play New Mexico, they were more talented than New Mexico, but New Mexico is bigger, stronger, more athletic than Harvard. So it would have been a game. It would have been a game that was hard to play because New Mexico defends so well. Harvard had spent their magic, and they did a fantastic job in taking New Mexico out.
Right.
But there wasn't any way that they were going to beat Arizona unless Arizona just handed it to them. And Arizona took it, and that was great to see. You're seeing a team that's building some confidence, that has a lot of talent. I mean, they're going to take the floor with more talent than Ohio State has. Not as much experience. They don't have a Deshaun Thomas, an All-America level player. They don't have a Craft, who is an all Big Ten point guard. But they've got guys who are going to be NBA players. Grant Jarrett's going to be an NBA player. Brandon Ashley, Caleb Tarczewski. They have a lot of guys that will be in the league in the future, but they're very young, and so it's going to take a little time for them to develop.
So, with that said, it's a fascinating matchup. Do you have a feeling about which way this one goes?
What's interesting to me about the matchup is Aaron Craft struggled to make his customary defensive impact against Iowa State, because Iowa State, they'll enter their offense from any direction. They don't care if it comes from the point guard. Will Clyburn, the small forward, will sometimes take it and make things happen. And they run a lot of screens at the point of attack to try to get the point guard off balance. So he didn't matter as much. He will matter huge against Arizona. Mark Lyons, Arizona's point guard, is a converted shooting guard, spent 3 years as a starting shooting guard at Xavier, was very good in that role. On occasion would take the point, but even in that circumstance, it was still, okay, I've got the ball now, but I'm going to score.
Right.
And he's done a really nice job for Arizona. They certainly aren't in the Sweet 16 without having him, but he's still not really a point guard, and now he's going to face the best defensive point guard, not only in the country now, but probably that we've seen in the last 10 or 15 years.
Which is saying something.
Yeah, so it's going to be very hard for Mark, and I think that's where Ohio State gets the edge. Now, do they use it edge in order, and run good offense and get away from Arizona's defense and all those sorts of things? That's the challenge, but I think they have an advantage at the start of the game, and then it'll be up to Arizona to see if maybe they can counter that with the size we talked about. Tarczewski, 7 feet. Jarrett, 6'10" shooter. Ashley, 6'10", very athletic. Ohio State doesn't have anybody like that. You saw it against Iowa State. If they did, they would have punished Iowa State inside all night, but they didn't have anybody to do it with.
I see. All right, another fascinating matchup in this year's Sweet 16. For Mike DeCourcy, I'm Tom Vandervoort. Thanks again to UPS. We'll see you next time.